Hey, Assalamualaikum. What's good, everyone? My name is Muhammad Zulkarnain Abdul, and today my group will be present to you the differentiate between conventional and Islamic banking products based on various guidelines and standards in Malaysia. This is between Maybank and Bank Rakyat. Now, let's look at the table of content. There are 13 contents to be presented by each of our group members for the assignment. The first one, the acknowledgement. Second one, introduction of the assignment. Third one, background of Bank Rakyat and Maybank. Fourth, organizational structure. Fifth, background credit card. Sixth, product features. 7, application or procedure of the credit card. 8, finding on standard and operational requirement. 9, contract, legal documents and modus operandi. 10, advantages and disadvantages of credit card. 11, recommendation. 12, conclusion, and last but not least, the 31, references. Everyone who has helped us in completing this assignment deserves our heartfelt thanks, especially Madam Dalilah, who has offered us information and guidance throughout the process of completing this report, from the beginning to the end. The members of the group, Putri Nur Zara Sofia, Nur Syafiqah, Nur Dania, Nur Ain, Muhammad Iman Aulia, and me, Ahmad Zulkarnain, deserve to be thanked for their excellent cooperation in completing this assignment. We want to express our gratitude to all of them. Everyone in this group put a lot of effort and was dependable. We had a few issues at the beginning of the project, but things got better as the project went on. We make every effort to find out the time convenient for all members to discuss the issue at hand. However, it won't be accessible if our members do not work together as a team. In addition, because we work well together, we are delighted to be a part of the group. As part of our task, we research the use of funds obtained through the credit cards. As a result, we distribute the workload equally amongst ourselves. Nonetheless, we made an effort to contribute to this banking operation and practices subjects, and we were able to complete them on time and successfully.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Iman. Now I will introduce the introduction of the assignment. The assignment covers the application of funds obtained through the product we choose, a credit card. Malaysia credit card industry is rapidly expanding and unique in that it operates in dual banking system where conventional and Islamic banking system coexist. Islamic banking provides the same purpose as traditional banking, except that it adheres to Sharia guidelines known as fiqh al-mu'amalat, Islamic rules on transaction. Furthermore, a credit card product allows you to keep your current account while benefiting from the benefits and terms of another card. Our team selected Maybank and Bank Rakyat, and this assignment also investigate about difference between conventional credit card and Islamic credit card.
The background of the Maybank. Maybank Berhad. Maybank was established in 1960 and has grown to become the largest company on the Malaysian Stock Exchange in market capitalization in Bursa Malaysia. According to Forbes Global, it is ranked first among Malaysian publicly traded companies and among the top 500 companies in the world. Commercial banking, leasing and hire purchase, investment banking, Islamic banking, insurance, offshore banking, factoring, trustee services, asset management, stockbroking, nominee services, venture capital and internet banking are just a few of the goods and services provided by the world's leading companies, according to the Maybank Group's ranking of the world's leading businesses in 2000. To humanize service in Asia, Maybank's mission is to ensure that people have fair terms and prices when accessing financial services and maintain a leadership position in the community at all times. Maybank's vision is to assist you in realizing your inspiration in Asia. As a custodian of public funds, Maybank has a responsibility to maintain the integrity and credibility of the institution. Based on this understanding, the organization establishes a clear code of ethics and behavior for its employees. When it comes to bringing out their responsibilities, the regulation establishes sound principles that will guide all Maybank employees in their decision. In addition, it is responsible for establishing guidelines for proper banking practice.
Okay, now for the Bank Rakyat background. The Cooperative Order 1948, which established Bank Rakyat on 28 September 1954, was the impetus for its establishment. The Cooperative Society Act 1993. Bank Rakyat was designed as a full-developed Islamic cooperative bank in 2002, a milestone in the organization history. Bank Rakyat sponsored a thought leadership event on 14 January 2020, which was dubbed the Bank Rakyat Integrity Forum 2020, to further its effort in promoting integrity and good governance in the country. Among the product and service available to meet the diverse needs of today's customer and consumer banking, business lending, saving and investment product and financial planning solution. Their commitment as an agency of Ministry of Entrepreneurial Development and Cooperative mandate to assist in the ministry goal of consolidating the cooperative sector as cornerstone of the nation's economic growth through all our efforts and initiatives.
The organizational structure. The Board of Directors. The bank's operations are overseen by the Board of Directors, who are also responsible for overseeing the bank's affairs through good corporate governance. The Board of Directors is elected by the stockholder and is responsible for governing the bank by establishing policies and procedures. It also is the bank's chief executive officer and is responsible for several high-level decisions, CEO. This list of responsibility applies to both Maybank and Bank boards of directors. Second one is Chief Executive Officer. It's CEO. Maybank's Berhad's CEO is a critical executive who reports directly to the Board of Directors. The CEO's job is to mobilize the bank's funds and put them to work making money. In order to compete effectively in the industry, the CEO must also ensure that the bank meets customer service standards. The CEO of a bank rakyat must also have extensive experience in the Sharia compliant financial sector. Many Islamic banks seek to appoint CEOs who have worked in both conventional and Islamic banks because of the CEO must communicate with both types of the bank stockholder. Next, the organizational structure is a group management. A management team is a group of top executives who, along with the company's CEO, determine that the company's strategy and oversee its operation. Depending on the sort of organization and team structure, the management team may meet weekly, monthly, or quarterly. It is usually organized around the top leader's direct reports. The Deputy Chief Executive Officer (CEO), Chief Risk Officer, Group Chief Human Capital Officer, Chief Information Technology Officer, and others make up the group management team. Both Maybank Berhad and Bank Rakyat are included in this list of individuals. Next is Audit Committee. Each commercial bank established an audit committee to provide direct oversight of the bank's financial reporting, disclosures, and risk to the Board of Directors. In general, Audit Committee in commercial banks are responsible for the following responsibility. Ensure that the bank's activities are compliant with industry standards. Illustrate that the business day-to-day operation comply with the company's internal control policies. Conduct internal bank audits to ensure that banking operations are carried out in accordance with the specific internal control processes and in accordance with the controlling organization's laws and regulations.
The Sharia Committee. The most significant distinction between Islamic banking and conventional banking, which is Bank Rakyat and Maybank Berhad, is the Sharia Committee. The Sharia Committee, or SE, is charged with ensuring that Islamic banking and takaful organization operates by Sharia principles in their operations and business activities. A decade of regulations surround an Islamic banking idea. Whatever features it provides, they are subject to regulatory review by Bank Negara Malaysia Sharia Advisory Council or SAC and more stringent inspection by the Sharia Committee, which is independent of the bank and reports directly to the Board of Directors. The Sharia Committee must guarantee that all needs of justice, customer protection, Sharia conformity, interpretation of customary civil practices, and practically of education were considered in their decision. In other words, choices must be transparent, defendable, and devoid of uncertainty about their legality.
Maybank credit card is filled with financing limits granted by the bank to their customers. Customers will be subject to profit charges if the financing limits are used but not fully settled before the due date. In addition, Maybank provides a wide range of exclusive Mastercard services such as medical assistance, trip preparation information, travel assistance, and legal representation in any case of emergency. When it is used correctly, Maybank Masterclass Classic can be a valuable tool for earning rewards, dealing with crisis or unexpected spending, and improving credit. Earning rewards is one of the main advantages for Maybank Masterclass Classics users, as the cardholders can redeem them for goods that they would have purchased.
The Bank Rakyat credit card functions are the same as those of other credit cards, such as the Maybank credit card. It does, however, make an offer based on Shariah's compliance. In addition, Bank Rakyat offers the Islamic credit card I in a variety of configurations. Based on the Shariah concept of murabaha, we choose the Bank Rakyat credit card I Classic by adapting the tawarruk practice. Based on customer want, the bank will purchase commodities from the commodity suppliers Then, using murabahah contract, sell commodities to customers at a deferred selling price, commodity cost with profit. Then, as a customer agent, sell it to a third-party buyers in cash. These third-party buyers' cash profits will be deposited into the card account, allowing customers to purchase goods and services. The Bank Rakyat Classic Credit Card I also comes with free group family takaful insurance coverage. The coverage includes guaranteed repayment of outstanding debts incurred because of credit card I use. Customers must have a monthly income at least RM2,000. They also have an annual profit rate as low as 13.5%. There are no annual fees or compounding interest to worry about. Unlike many other credit cards on the market, Bank Rakyat offers a simple credit card that corresponds to the values of your faith. The Bank Rakyat Credit Card I Classic is designed for people who want a simple credit card that won't cost them a fortune in interest. The Bank Rakyat Classic Credit Card I has a low interest rate. The credit limit is the maximum amount of purchases made with this Bank Rakyat credit card.
Product features. According to Maybank's product features, every transaction made with a Maybank credit card results in the customer receiving trade points. Customer will receive 1 trade points for every RM1 spent in Malaysia, 2 trade points for every RM1 spent in an outbound transaction, and 2 trade points for all expenses incurred during the month of their birthday, up to a maximum of 2 trade points per transaction. The trade points program's terms and conditions are available. When customers charge their Maybank Mastercard Classic tickets in total, Maybank will also provide travel insurance coverage up to RM700,000 for their convenience. Customers will receive an insurance certificate, which will then be used to provide benefits to all customers as and when they are required.
The product features of Bank Rakyat is the lack of compounding element and a markup rate on all international transactions means that there are no additional fees on currency exchange. The group also receive free takaful insurance. Also included in the coverage is guaranteed payment for unauthorized use of a credit card device. One of the product's features is the waiver of the annual fee. 1,500 ringgits are donated. The credit card tied pricing structures has a low profit margin. Rakyat is a reward system. Every RM10 spent on the card earns the cardholder 1 point. After the point conversion, the winner will receive RM0.1 per 10 points earned. Syariah murabahah refers to punishing those who break the law by adopting the tawarruk practices.
Now for the application procedure of credit card for Maybank Berhad. For who is eligible to apply, the first one is Malaysian and expertise earning a minimum of 16,000 per year are eligible. Primary card holder are those between the ages of 21 and 65 years old, and the supplementary card holder are between the ages of 18 and 65 years old. For the document and that are required is holder of the primary card. If you are a salary employee, you must do the following. You have to have a photocopy IC or your passport, a salary slip from the most recent 3 months, and saving account activity and current account statement from the previous 6 months. Next is if you are a self-employed, you must have a photocopy IC or your passport, income tax return form B, the most recent EA form, business registration certificate, trade license form 9, form 24, form 49, and other supporting document. The most recent 6 months worth of the company are personal bank statement. If you are an expatriate, you should employment contract in Malaysia for the specific period confirmed by letter from the employer. In addition to the primary card holder, there is secondary card holder, which is you have to have a photocopy IC and your passport. It's the procedure for conventional credit card through Maybank online. There are 2 ways that you can follow, which is you can follow the instruction through the picture. Next is the procedure for conventional credit card through Maybank offline. First, document required when applying are copy of IC or passport, the latest copy of boarding BE along with your tax receipt, copy of latest 3 month salary slip, copy of latest 6 month bank statement. For the self-employed, you have to have a copy of business registration, copy of latest 6 month bank statement. For non-Malaysian citizens, please enclose a letter from the employer stating the duration of the employment contract in Malaysia.
The application to apply for Islamic credit card Bank Rakyat is principal must be 21 years old and above, and the supplementary is 18 years old and above, and the minimum annual income must be 24,000 and above. The procedure for applying Islamic credit card through Bank Rakyat through online. Firstly, visit the Rakyat Bank credit card website. Second, enter the word that appears and press confirm. Third, read terms and conditions and tick on the space provided and press next. The application form will be displayed. Next, you are required to make a choice of available credit cards and each one contains its own conditions. Then fill in all the required information in the application form. Then after filling everything, press next. Then you need to follow the further instruction.
These are the procedure for Islamic credit card through Bank Rakyat offline. Documents required are as follow. In addition, a copy of IC, applicant's IC, front and back, passport for principal or supplementary applicants is required. For those who work for the government, a copy of your most recent payslip. For employees in the private sector, you need a copy of your most recent payslip, EA form or EPF statement. For salary per month with a commission-based base, you need a copy of your most recent payslip, EA form or EPF statement, and a copy of the most recent commission statement for 6 months record. For no base pay and all compensation is based on commission, you need a copy of the most recent commission statement for 12 months record. For self-employed, you need a copy of your company registration, a copy of your bank most recent 6 month statement, a copy of the most recent Form B, and a copy of the receipt for tax payment. For expatriate, in addition, you need a copy of the Bank Rakyat savings account is required, a copy of the employer's confirmation letter of the contract. For pensioner, a photocopy for your pension statement, latest 12-month transaction, a copy of the last 3 months bank statement showing the crediting of pension amount into the account.
According to the company, because of their credit card processing and issuing operation, Maybank was awarded the ISO 9001-2000 certification by Syrian QAS International Center Berhad in 2003. Experts from all around the world have agreed on ISO standard. Standards cover a wide range of activities, whether it is the manufacture of a product, the management of a process, the delivery of a service, or the supply of materials. Manufacturers, sellers, buyers, customer trade association, users, and regulators all contribute to the development of standard by distilling the collective wisdom of those with subject matter expertise and a throughout understanding of the needs of the organization they represent. As an illustration, first, working to improve efficiency and reduce product failures is the goal of quality management standards. Reduce environmental impacts, reduce waste, and make your business more sustainable by following environmental management standards. Third, workplace health and safety regulation are intended to help reduce accident in the workplace. Fourth, energy management standards are intended to aid in the reduction of energy consumption. Fifth, food safety regulation are in place to help keep food from becoming contaminated. And lastly, IT security standards are in place to assist in keeping sensitive information safe.
As an Islamic financial institution, they must adhere to the standard and requirements set by the Central Bank of Malaysia (BNM) for Islamic financial institutions in Malaysia to ensure that the contract-based regulatory is compliance to Sharia from start to the end. I will present some of the Sharia laws to you. Each contract must be legally binding and accompanied by sufficient paperwork. It is also cannot be revoked unilaterally by either party. The eligible asset used as the subject must be recognized as valuable by Sharia, known and owned by the seller. However, certain items such as gold, silver, and currencies are not permitted to be traded in tawarruk.
Okay, next is the finding on standard and operational requirement for Maybank Berhad. According to the company, because of the credit card processing and issuing operation, Maybank was awarded the ISO. ISO stands for International Organization for Standardized. It's a worldwide non-governmental organization that improves standards to guarantee the safety, quality, and efficiency of service, product, and system. ISO is an acronym that stands for International Organization for Standardized. The standard that they represent, which is the first one, is working to improve efficiency and reduce product failure is the goal of quality management standard. The second one is reduce environmental impacts, reduce waste, and make your business more suitable by following environmental management standards. The third one is workplace health and safety regulations are intended to help reduce accidents in the workplace. The next one is energy management standards are intended to aid the reduction of energy consumption. The fifth is food safety regulations are in place to help keep food from becoming contaminated. The last one is IT security standards are in place to assist in keeping sensitive information safe. As for the operational requirement, an association that needs to determine its ability to consistently provide a product that meet customer and applicable regulatory requirements must comply with the requirements specified in the ISO. The standard aim to increase customer certification through the practical application of the system, which include process of continuous improvement of the system and assurance of conformity to customer and applicable regulatory requirement in this international standard. All the requirements are generic and they are intended to apply all the corruption regardless of the type, size and product offering.
Operational requirements for Bank Rakyat according to BNM guidance are to identify and analyze risks associated with acquiring and possessing an asset for the tawarruk structure before signing the contract. Next is the implementation of suitable asset pricing methods and the establishment of procedures when relevant to guaranteeing goods are acquired in a fair and unbiased way. Bank Rakyat also must assure that the appointment or election of the asset trader or asset exchange is heavily researched and risk assessed. The arrangement does not jeopardize the Bank Rakyat abilities to oversee and manage its operations while adhering to Sharia law.
Next is contract. Commercial banks offer the facility of overdrawing from the account of the customer on interest. One of its forms is the use of credit cards in which the bank sets the overdraft limit for customer. Maybank Berhad generates its profits from interest-based, finance and charges fees. The annual fee for the credit card and any relevant taxes will be paid by the consumer, including in the case of a principal credit card or supplementary credit cards issued. The bank will determine the annual fee and may change it from time to time. The annual fee will be billed to the customer by the monthly statement. Any payment received from the customer will be applied in the order of balance with the highest interest rate to those with the lowest interest rate. Any outstanding purchase transaction and cash withdrawal transaction that are not paid by the due date will incur finance charges. Finance charges will be applied to by transaction from when the transaction is posted until full payment is received. Finance charges will also be imposed at a rate determined regularly by Maybank. If the bank does not receive the minimum payment by the due date, Maybank will incur a late payment fee of 1% of the unpaid outstanding amount or 10 ringgit whichever is greater up to maximum of 100 ringgit. The difference between conventional and Islamic banking, which is Maybank Berhad and Bank Rakyat, is that no money is loaned to the client as the bank will buy the commodity for clients and sell it back to them at a markup price. Under conventional banking, Maybank, a customer is charged with interest once the facility avails. However, under Murabaha, only profit is due when the commodity is delivered to the customer. Islamic banks do not provide financing unless it is in the form of Murabaha, as our chosen product is credit card I Classic from Bank Rakyat, which implies Sharia Murabaha by adopting tawarruk practice. It is a method of sale with a markup price whereby the customer makes payment over an agreed period. In the context of Sharia, there are permissible and non-permissible aspects to how Muslims conduct their activities, including economic participation, which must be free of prohibited elements such as riba, gharar, and maisir. Islamic finance entails the provision of financial products and services to customers by Islamic banks. Gharar is overcharging, while riba is interest and maisir is gambling. There are no compound charges, as stocking is also prohibited under Sharia law. Furthermore, in case of default, customers are charged with further charges for the extra period under the conventional system, which is Maybank. However, additional charging is not allowed under Murabaha. Other than that, under the conventional system, customer can avail the opportunity of rescheduling by entering into a new agreement to pay interest for an extended period, which is not the case under Murabaha. Islamic banking, such as Bank Rakyat, can claim only the original receivable amount agreed in the initial contract. Another practical issue under Murabaha is how to deal with intentional defaulters. Different options are lying with Islamic banking, including listing the defaulter for any further financing facility to stipulate in the contract that in case of default, all installments will be due at once. To specify in the contract, a penalty shall be imposed. Still, the same shall not form the income of Islamic banking. Instead, it will go to the charities such as non-government organizations.
Islamic Bank Credit Card. Bank Rakyat requires the following legal documents to issue Islamic credit cards. All applicants must provide a front and back copy of their IC or passport, primary or supplementary. For government employees, a copy of the last payment is required. For private sector employees, an EA form or EPF declaration was required at the 6-month transactions. For self-employed individual, must submit a copy of their business registration, a 6 months later statement, a receipt form B, and a tax receipt. The required documentation, copy of most recent payslip, EA form or EPF statement within the last 6 months of transactions, or the committee's most recent statement 6 months required. Those who do not receive basic pay must submit only the most recent committee declaration 12-month report records. both the BRSEI and the employer letter are required. A copy of the contract confirmation is required as proof of employment. For pensioners, must provide an original pension return with last 12-month transaction and a 3-month bank statement showing the crediting of pension amount into the account. Legal document for Maybank credit card. First, attach the following document to your application. This included a copy of the IC or passport, both sides, a recent income tax return, which is a J form, a wage slip for the previous 2 months, and activity or current account statement for the previous 3 months. For self-employed individual, must prepare business registration copies and bank statement for the last 3 months. For expatriates, will need an employer letter confirming their employment contract in Malaysia. Existing card holders must also provide copies of their IC, both sides, passport, including supplementary applicant's IC, credit or charge card, both sides, and most recent card declaration.
Modus operandi of Bank Rakyat as an Islamic bank. First, the bank will buy commodities that are valued at the credit limit. Second, the bank will then sell the commodity to the customer, which is the card applicant, at the price of credit limit added with the profit rate. Third, as the owner of the commodity is now the customer, the bank will be appointed as the agent by the customer to sell the commodity back in the market. Fourth, the bank as the agent will sell the commodity at 30,000 ringgit to another broker in the market. Fifth, the bank credits the amount into the cardholder's account. Sixth, the customer will then make payment as in deferred terms, which are the monthly minimum required payment based on the agreement or full settlement. Modus operandi for conventional credit cards of Maybank. First, the cardholder makes a purchase and swipes a credit card at a merchant or seller that use post terminals to pay. Second, the merchant will submit the transaction to the acquirer through the credit card network, such as MasterCard. Merchants receive post devices from the acquirers. Third, the acquirer submits the credit card details to the credit card network. Fourth, the credit card network requests a payment ticket to the issuer, which is Maybank. Fifth, after the bank is authorized, Maybank will send the authorized code to the acquirer. Sixth, the acquirer will approve the transaction and credit the merchant for the transaction. Seventh, the acquirer is paid by the issuer, which is Maybank. Eighth, the issuer will issue a monthly statement of the payment made by the credit card. And lastly, the cardholder pays the amount due to the issuer, which is Maybank.
Next, the advantages of Maybank credit card. According to what we all know, traditional banks are pretty famous for their credit cards, and the following are some of the advantages that they provide. Firstly is credit card rewards. Second, a protection plan. Third, a balance transfer, and lastly is the installment plan. The advantages of Bank Rakyat credit card are classic. Islamic credit card have the same features as standard credit cards but adhere to Sharia law. That means you can enjoy all the advantages of a traditional credit card. Aside from that, Islamic credit card provide additional benefit that conventional credit cards do not. This will be explained in better detail below. Compliance with Sharia law and Islamic credit card guarantees Muslim that the financial product is Sharia compliant and adheres to Islamic teachings. The contrast between conventional and Islamic banking is that no wealth is loaned to the customer because the bank purchases the item then resell it to them at a higher price. Islamic banking accomplishes the same goal as conventional banking, except that it adheres to Shariah's norm, known as fiqh al-mu'amalat, Islamic rules on transaction. And the disadvantages of the credit card is firstly the interest rate that are applied are frequently unreasonably high. Second, conventional credit cards are associated with outstanding debts that people have gotten themselves into debt. Lastly, Islamic credit cards do not permit the use of the term usury that means high interest.
In my personal view, Islamic credit cards are way better than conventional credit cards. The structure of an Islamic bank is built around the mudarabah structure. It fits perfectly with how the bank is to be managed. It should be the backbone of any Islamic banks where the setup is linked end to end, resulting in sharing of factual returns arising from a Sharia compliant financing or investment activity. Whether it is an Islamic credit card or not, we must choose it wisely. Here are some of my recommendations for our credit card usage. The first one, we need to choose the credit card wisely. Second one, we need to build a good credit card history. Third one, you need to save your money on your interest. And last but not least, the fourth one, we must choose an excellent purchase protection.
Okay, last but not least, for the conclusion, credit card provide convenience to consumer, acting as both payment method and a flexible credit instrument. We may expect that the most consumer will pay a modest net monetary cost to access the convenience. In our opinion, Islamic credit card are way better than conventional credit card. The provision of gharar and riba are the most significant difference between Islamic and regular credit card. Moreover, it allows satisfaction of having the money safely deposited with a bank to assure that the bank is not investing it is in activities that contravene Sharia principle. The overall conclusion is that Islamic banks are less effective, have higher intermediation ratios, and better asset quality, and are better profit from conventional credit card. The last two value in particular have helped Islamic bank better during the financial crisis. So that's all from us. Thank you very much.